Hello everyone, I'm gonna do the same thing Minno did in his video, because that seemed pretty interesting. Which is, I'm gonna use this tier list, which was recently created. I've already used it for a couple of things, although this is the first time I make a video. I'll probably make one video for a bunch of other types of tiers as well, but let's start with the one I haven't done yet, even outside of these videos. So I'm gonna rank the boss fights of the Mainseries games, and I'm actually gonna skip a few of the games because I don't quite know how to rank them. I'm gonna skip everything before Mystic Square because I haven't played Lotus Land Story in so many years that it's kind of hard to remember the boss fights very well. I didn't play that game much anyway. And the first two games also even worse than Lotus Land Story. Like I just can't remember what all the boss fights are like precisely. And as for the Phantasmagorias, I think I'll include them, although it's really hard to compare them. I think I'll include them anyway. Just my own opinion on them. I personally really like the Phantasmagorias, like they're some of my favorites, so there's gonna be quite a few S ranks from them for sure. And I'm also gonna skip HSIFS because I didn't play that game much. I only played it a few times and I didn't like it. I didn't like any of the bosses, so just imagine I would put them all at the bottom, like E or F pretty much. Alright, let's start with Mystic Square and move up from there. So, here. First we have Sarah. Nothing special, not much to say. Louise, pretty fun. Pretty fun, but pretty shallow, I guess you could say. Okay for a stage 2 boss, but you know, nothing too special. You can have some fun with her though. Alice. Well, this is a little bit of a conundrum because we can rank the stage 3 or we could rank the EX. I'd say the stage 3 is probably a low C, whereas the EX fight is more of a high C or maybe even a B. I'm gonna follow my heart on this one and say B because I really enjoyed the extra stage for Mystic Square back when I was a beginner, and I never really revisited it since then, so I'm just gonna operate on nostalgia with this one. Yuki and Mai, I think of them as a pair. To be quite honest, I don't entirely remember what Yuki's solo patterns are like. I always go with Mai myself. So I'm just gonna put them together. It's a pretty good boss fight. It's definitely a B in my book. I'm gonna be ordering as well, so I think they're better B than Alice, for sure. Next, Yumeko. Yumeko is my favorite boss in Mystic Square, and I think one of the better bosses in the series. Not sure if she's quite deserving of an S rank, because, well, it's Mystic Square. Mystic Square has a pretty shallow gameplay system. But if we disregard all that, then this is about as fun as, you know, a boss is gonna get, just from a dodging standpoint. So I think I'll put her in S. I just feel like it, you know. She's incredibly fun. It's incredibly fun to just play the game casually and dodge Yumeko. What can I say? Next, Shinki. Shinki is a fight that is very aesthetically pleasing. It's very cool, it's a very atmospheric fight. But the dodging is not quite up there with Yumeko. Not even really close to Yumeko, I think. But there's some creativity in there. It's atmospheric. I think she's almost deserving of an A. But I'm gonna give her a B. And we're skipping Lotus Land Story, so then let's move on to EUSD. So in EUSD, first we have Rumia. I love the boss theme. I think you can do some cool tricks in these fights. If we count the mid-boss as well, you can sit on her back and follow her around, but that's pretty shitty. But you have that like point-blank grace on Rumia's fights, reacting to different patterns and stuff. I'd say she's not bad for a stage 1 boss, but you know, she's still just a stage 1 boss. She's not that great of a fight on the whole. Well, Daiosei, I'm gonna go ahead and give her an F because it's really just a mid boss with basic streaming pattern. Now you can do the Daiosei spin, but that's it. That's all there is. There's nothing more than that. I don't really see any real reason to give her, you know, maybe an E because Dai spin is cool, but F, honestly, F. Cirno. Cirno is pretty good. But is she great? Does she deserve a B? I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna go ahead and give her a C, and we'll leave it at a high C. Because I do enjoy the fight, but you know, still, it's just a stage 2 fight. She doesn't really challenge you that much. But it's no, honestly, she's such a good stage 2 boss. She does deserve a B. Mei Ling. I think Mei Ling is great. I think she's great. Really fun to play for score, although there are some annoyances. It's pretty fun to learn about them. It's pretty fun to learn to play her for score. And she's fun to dodge as well. I think she gets an A. Very solid boss fights. It's like she's frustrating, but there's definitely a lot to enjoy about this fight. It's quite an engaging fight. Koakuma, I'm gonna just go ahead and count books along with Koakuma. Koakuma's own pattern is decent, although it's only one pattern. And books, I personally hate the books because I think books are too fucking hard. And it's rare to hear that from me, that I think something is too hard, but I think books is just too fucking hard. I just don't like books. That said, I appreciate the difficulty. Like, I'm just that kind of person. I appreciate the difficulty, so even though I personally just don't like the books, just because, you know, this is just for personal reasons, I'm gonna give her a D because I don't think it's a bad, like, patterns are bad or anything. Patchouli, I think Patchouli deserves an S, higher than Yumeko even. Probably the best boss fight in EUSD. All around, like, she does have some spell cards that aren't good, but if you play her as Marisa A, I think it's the best fight in EUSD. If you play her as one of the other shots, it's debatable. Like, she does have some shitty spell cards. But still, I'm gonna give her an S for the good points. Sakuya is like Yumeko, except better, I think. Yeah, maybe I should drop Yumeko down to A. Nah, I'm gonna stick with my choices. I think Sakuya is slightly better than Yumeko. They're close, but Sakuya is just slightly more fun. And, you know, her music rocks. Killing Doll is one of the most fun patterns in all of Touhou to dodge. very few patterns that are up there with killing all. All of the non-spells are incredibly fun, and the second non-spell especially I really enjoy. The third a little less, and the first two spells on the other hand not quite up there with the other patterns, but at least they're kind of creative. The first spell is pretty creative, I guess, but it is RNG bullshit, and the second spell is just a waste of time. Remelia is like half of the fight I love, half of the fight I don't. She gets an A. I think better than Mei Ling, because Scarlet Meister and Scarlet Gensokia are just that fun. Scarlet Meister in particular is an incredibly fun pattern. Vampire Illusion, it's bullshit, but it can be fun. Like, this is EUSD, this is dice rolls, you know? It can be fun. The non-spells kind of a waste. The first spell kind of not too fun. Second spell is pretty fun. So she gets an A, but she doesn't get an S. Flandre is one of the better EX fights, I think. But like all EX bosses, she does have some problems. Too many wasted non-spells. Too much waste of time. Thankfully, Flandre's timers are pretty short. The spell cards are mostly really good. Flandre is a cool fight for scoring. But like EX bosses tends to be, not much to chew on if you're playing casually. I'm gonna go ahead and give Flandre a B, a high B, above Shinky. Alright, so next we have PCB. PCB is a very scoring-oriented game, not the most exciting game for survival, but I do have a little bit of experience with score, so plus obviously watch replays and shit, but yeah, a little bit of experience playing for score. We have no C yet. It's kind of strange. I bet we'll get lots of C's eventually. So let's start off with Letty. Letty, I don't personally like Letty. But I do think Letty is really cool. The last spell is really cool when done properly, and the last spell is really cool on any difficulty. Like, it doesn't matter what difficulty you play. So just because of the last spell, I'm not gonna give her an F, and I'm not gonna give her an E. She's gonna get a D. Yeah, I mean, I think she's a little better than Rumia, so probably a little better than Louise as well. Shen is a little slow. She's not as good as Chirno, but she's better than Letty. She gets a C. She's not too bad, but she's not that good either. Alice is probably my favorite boss in PCB. I think Alice is one of the best designed bosses you will find in Touhou. I think she should probably be... No, like, I have a soft spot for EUST dodging, so I don't think she gets to be higher than Saku and Patchouli. But PCB lovers, rest assured, I love Alice's fight. It is extremely well designed, it is extremely fun, great for scoring, and probably the most fun for survival in the game as well. Lily, well, it's just a mid-boss, so there's not too much to say, but like, there's really not much to Lily. The Prism Rivers, okay, once again, I think I'm just gonna put all the Prism Rivers together because it's been some time since I saw... No, let me think. That was... Okay, so I remember Lunasa's spell, I remember Lyrica's spell, I remember Merlin's spell as well. And let me think about the non-spells. Okay, so... No, just so I don't make this video overly long, because I'm not going to have any cuts or anything. I'm just going to put them all together. I think they are an A fight. here. They're above Remelia, I think. Great scoring fight, good survival fight. No. Remelia. Yeah, I still like Remelia a little more. I just love Scarlet Meister that much. Alright, Yomu. Isn't Yomi a little bit overrated? I never felt Yomi was quite as good as the other, like, good PCB bosses. The good PCB bosses, obviously, anyone after stage 2, because the first 2 stages in most of the games tend to be a little on the slow side. Her spells are not entirely to my taste. Her non-spells aren't that good. I think she, for me, she gets kind of a low-ish B. Yeah, like that, I think. She's good, but I still think she's one of the weaker parts of PCB. Kind of breaks the flow a little bit. You know, stage 3 and stage 4 are so good. Stage 5, not quite up there. Yuyuko, incredibly cool aesthetically. One of the best bosses in Touhou, just in terms of its presentation. That's not even debatable. However, for survival, she's nothing special. For scoring, she's super cool, but there are some parts that I feel I don't like that much. I just don't personally like some of Yuyuko's fight that much, so I'm gonna have to give her an A instead of an S. Amazing presentation, some incredibly cool tricks, incredibly cool fight, but just for pure enjoyment. I can't give her an S. I just don't enjoy her as much as I enjoy Sakia, for example. I just don't. Ran and Yukari, I'm giving them a C because I always found these bosses a little overrated. I don't think one is particularly better than the other. Either. They're about the same. They have way too many bad non-spells. That's what brings them down to a C. If Flandre's non-spells feel better, don't you know, destroy the fight as much as these two non-spells do. All right. So next we have Ayan. We have Wriggle. Wriggle is kind of like Rumia, not a bad stage 1 boss, but she's still a stage 1 boss. Mystia. I personally really like Mystia. She's good for a stage 2 boss. Creative fights, good music, fun tricks. Something like that, I think. Kane is also good. Yeah, Kane also gets a B. Not quite as good as Mystia, maybe. Yeah, kind of a low B, I think. Now, with Ayan, I'm not gonna count all those, what are those called, like the extra spells that you can play outside of the main game that aren't included in the main game. I'm not gonna count those because I can't remember them all. There's no way I could do that right now. So, with that in mind, Tay doesn't really have that much in the main game, so she's gonna have to get an E. There's just not that much. As for Raymond Marsa, I never really liked Marsa very much. She gets a D, but she does get a high D. I think she almost deserves a C. I just don't personally like her very much. Raimi, on the other hand, is a good fight. Reimu, she gets to be a high B. She's almost an A. Raisin. You know, when you first play the game, Raisin's fight feels creative. but it's a little bit lackluster for a stage 5 boss. I think she gets a C. She's not bad, but a little bit lackluster for a stage 5 boss. She's no, like, obviously she's no Sakya. Erin is a good final boss with breathtaking presentation and a varied set of patterns that, you know, all accomplish very different things, but there's too much emphasis on micro for my taste. So a B seems pretty appropriate. She's about tied with Shinki, I guess. They're both good final bosses, but the patterns aren't entirely to my taste. Kaguya. For the longest time, I hated Kaguya. But thinking back, Kaguya isn't bad. She's not bad. She is not bad, but I just... You know, I'm gonna have to be honest, I just don't like Kaguya that much. Definitely not bad or anything though, but I can't put her on a B rank. She gets to get a C rank. Moko, one of the best EX bosses. The only real issue with Moko is her timers are too fucking long. Aside from that, this is some of the best scoring you're gonna find in Touhou is with Moko. So, timers are too fucking long. Obviously for survival there's nothing really here, but for scoring, I'm debating if I should give her an S. We need some more scoring bosses up here in the S, I think. She gets to get an S. Yeah. Alright. Next we have... let's do the Phantasmagorias last. So we have Moth. Well... Nothing really here. Where should I put you? Should I put you in the C? I think you're pretty good for a stage 1 boss. But you're still only a stage 1 boss. I think you get to get a C. Hina is pretty good for stage 2 boss. But she seems pretty annoying to play for score to me. I don't know. Well, I don't personally enjoy this fight too much, but it's not bad or anything. I think she also gets to get a C. No, wait. Nitori. Nitori comes first. I got confused because of this row above. Nitori is a nice fight. Mid-boss Nitori is pretty fun. Nitori's spells are pretty fun. Not the first one, but the other 2 spells are pretty fun. And the last spell is really cool to look at. The non-spells aren't anything too special though. I think Nitori does not quite reach a B. I'm gonna put her here. She's a little better than Hina, I guess. A little better, but not much. Aya. I think Aya is my favorite fight in Moth, unless it's Suako, but I think it's probably Aya. I just think Aya has a really nice set of patterns that she's a good engaging boss fight. She's like just a good fight to dodge. So she gets no, I don't think she's as good as Mei Ling. I think she gets... She's around the same as Reimu, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Mumiji... It's only Mumiji, but I think Mumiji is pretty fun. Still though, it's only Mumiji. Yeah, like that. No. There you go. Sanae. Good fights. Good, but not too great. I think she's a about the same as Yoma, if not slightly worse. But I can't give her a C, I feel like. Kanako, a little overrated. A little overrated. I'm gonna give Kanako a C. Yeah, like that. Suwako, one of the better EX bosses in my opinion. I'll put her together with Aya and Flounder. That seems about appropriate to me. Alright. SA, Kisame. Kisame gets to be here at the bottom. Yamame, not a big fan personally. Parsi, not a huge fan either. I used to really like her, but I think something like that. Yugi also, I'm not crazy about her. I think the one with the bubbles blowing in from the side, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty good, but I don't think it brings her to a C rank. I think she's still a D rank. So somewhere like this. Satori completely depends on which shot you have. She could be an E, or she could be a C, or anywhere in between. But she could never be a B. So I'm gonna average out to a D. Let's give her a high D because there are some fun some fun spells in this. Orin is pretty good, pretty creative. I think she gets to get a C. She's not great, but she's creative enough to get a C. Not super fun or anything. Yeah, like that, I think. No. And Utsuho. Non-spells are pretty shitty. And as for the spells, too much micro for my tastes. And the fight is kind of hard to watch. It's kind of hard on your eyes, so she gets a D as well. It's not a bad fight, but it's too micro heavy and too annoying too hard for your eyes. Koishi is extremely creative. Extremely good presentation, but scoring sucks. Survival kind of sucks. Presentation alone just can't. When I was a beginner, I loved this fight, but like right now, I just can't, man. I just can't. She gets to be alongside her sister. So yeah, you can tell I'm not a big fan of SA. UFO though, UFO is good. So, let's start with Astron. Astron is a good stage 1 boss. She's one of the better stage 1 bosses. So, she gets to be here in C. Stage 1 bosses are never, unless you're playing Great Fairy Wars, because Great Fairy Wars has Sunny Milk, but other than that, stage 1 bosses are never going to be that great. Kogasa, I love Kogasa as a character, but she's not that fun, that's the problem. Her non-spells are bad, her last spell is good, her first spell is bad, her second spell is okay, her last spell is good, her first spell is bad, so I think it averages out to a C. About the same as Nitori. Yeah, Ichirin. I used to not like Ichirin very much, but I think she's a little better these days. Maybe she also gets a C. Murasa, oh yeah, you get to be... Actually, you can stay there. You don't need to be on the tier list. Murasa, I have something against Murasa because she has that shit with the third non where bullets from before can mix in. And she also has her third spell. The third spell you can get like super bad armor, you can get like totally walled in. The third spell is just so badly designed. But I still enjoy this fight for what it is, even though it has flaws. I think something like this. Show is a good fight. Very frustrating. Kind of not a fun fight to play on a series run that much. I'd be afraid of Show in a series run. Really afraid. But she's fun. I think she deserves an A. Very fun. Most of the patterns are really fun. And when they're the ones that don't feel as fun, they still feel like they have a place. Now, I almost want to bring her down to a B just because of the second non where if she moves down, it's just bullshit. Hate that shit. But other than that, like I'm gonna give her an A. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. Byakuren. Byakuren is one of the most breathtaking fights in Touhou. The song is one of my favorites. The build-up is one of the best. Build-up, the stage portion. The fight itself is so varied. It's just so breathtaking. She's an S. It's not the most fun fight. She's not as fun as Sakya or Patchouli. Not quite as fun as that. And there's not really much scoring to do here, but I just really appreciate this fight. I'm gonna have to... like that, I think. And Nue. Once again, like with a lot of EX bosses, when I was a beginner, I thought Nue was super cool, but like right now she's just too easy. Super cool for casuals, but a bit too easy. She gets a kind of a low B. Not that low, maybe. Not like that. Like this. All right. Well, we can do Great Fire. We can include Great Fire Wars, but if we do that, then it's it's gonna look like this. I'm not even sure about the order. Just put them in any order, really. There's so many different combinations, and like some of the bosses are better in stage 1 or stage 2. Some of the my favorite final boss is the B1 with Luna leading. But my favorite stage 1 boss is Sunny Milk. My favorite stage 2 boss probably Star Sapphire, also in B1, probably. So, but yeah, I do think these are the best bosses you're gonna find in one of the more kind of I don't even know if I'm gonna call Great Fire was traditional. It's not a main series game, but it is a stage-based game, so I'm gonna include them. I think these are the best. So. Oh yeah, Yuyuko. So Yuyuko in TD is an E, I think. So just pretend that TD Yuko is down here at E. Kyoko is a D. Not good for a stage 2 boss. Not really a good boss. But she's not terrible. Yoshika is a little better. But I'm not... Yoshika, she gets a C, but once again we're gonna go with a kind of a low C. She's somewhere between C and D. Sega... I think Sega is also kind of somewhere between C and D, but like maybe more of a D. Yeah, I think... yeah, like that, I think. What's her name again? Soga no Tojiko. Okay. Yeah, it's that zigzag. It's only one pattern, so an E seems appropriate. Futo is not too bad. She's not great for stage 5 boss, but she does make TD a bit more fun. She has a pretty easy set of patterns, but most of her spells are still pretty fun. The first spell is the best. I think she deserves a C. I think she's alongside Orin, maybe? Yeah, that seems about right. And you, I don't really like this fight because it's kind of like a bad version of Byakuran's fight, where there's a lot of variety, kind of not quite like a theme. Like Yuko and Remelia, they kind of have a theme, right? Byakuran and Miko don't quite have that theme with their patterns. Patterns are kind of random. But these patterns are just not as good as Byakuran's. She is not bad, but she's a little boring compared to most final bosses. I'd say she's not a D, but she's still on the lower side of a C. Something like that. Mamizu, one of the better EX bosses. I'm gonna give her an A. I think she there is still the non-spells. The non-spells are kind of shitty. But other than the non-spells, she's so good. She gets a low A. Alright, now for DDC. Wakisaki gets a D. She's around the same as regular and Rumia in my book. Sexy Banki. It's creative. It's not that fun though. Not that fun. Not bad, but not that fun. She gets a D. It's about the same as Parsi. Kagero, she's very fun. I just hate the bullet type, the glowy bullet type. They're so hard to read. They're so annoying on your eyes. If they just used the same bullets but without as much glow, this fight would be borderline S. As it is, she's an A. Very fun to dodge, but must be frustrating in a serious run though. Oh yeah, these two. Shit. So, you know what? Give me a moment to refresh my memory on exactly which spell card belonged to which one of them. Oh, I can go back to keep listening to the music as well. Alright, so Ben. Yeah, that one was Ben. That one is pretty good. That one is not good. That one is pretty good. That one is a waste of time. And that one is pretty good, the Daojo pattern, and that one really sucks. Okay, so I think Ben is the better boss. Somewhat. Neither of them are great though. But I do think Ben is a little better, but I'm not sure if Ben actually gets to get a B. I think she's still stuck on a C, and I'm not sure if Yatsuhashi is actually gonna be deserving of a D. So I think I'm gonna give both of them a C. Ben, you get to be kind of around Murasa, I would say. And you, Yatsuhashi, you get to be kind of around Raisin, I would say. Seija, I really dislike the gimmick. I think it is a cool fight if you are not the one playing. If you're the one playing, then the gimmick is just too annoying. I'm sorry, Seija, I'm gonna give you a D. She's... yeah, around the same as Saturn, maybe. Sukuna, I never really was a fan of Sukuna. I never really was a fan. I think one of the things that really brings this fight down for me is the survival. The one where she makes your hitbox really big. I think that pattern is total shit. The rest of the fight is not bad though. So the rest of the fight is pretty fine. So like I think she gets a C. About the same as Kanako. Maybe even a little better than Kanako. That seems about right. And Raikou, she's an EX boss with not that much to her really. One of the worst EX bosses I think would put her alongside Kuishi. Kuishi, better presentation. So maybe even a little below Kuishi. Something like that. Alright, and next we have Lolke. Lolke is a game that really grew on me. But I still don't like I don't enjoy most of the bosses that much, but it grew on me because the scoring is so radical. So Seran, she does have that one pattern which is really total bullshit. I can't in good conscience give her a C. I think she deserves a D. Sorry. Close to a C though. Ringo is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I think she gets a B. Let me think. Yeah, she gets a B. She almost an A. Great stage 2 boss. Like this is what a stage 2 boss should be like. Doremi. I think probably a lot of people don't like Doremi, but like holy shit, I think she's the best boss in Lolke by far, and one of the best stage 3 bosses that we've had in Touhou. It's just such a fast-paced fight full of dodging. It's just so cool. Love this fight. I hesitate putting her an S. She's not like genius, right? But when I look at S right now, maybe should Yumeko really be at S if Doremi isn't there? I think Yumeko and Doremi are kind of similar. So I think they're both almost S. Let's go with that. This bitch, Sagame. What a waste. She's no fun at all. She's not horrible. She's not... She's no mid-boss. She doesn't have just one pattern. But, like, there's just nothing that great about it. I think she gets a D. Clown Piece. I'm a huge fan of Clown Piece as a character. Totally to my taste. Everything about Clown Piece is to my taste. Most metal Touhou for sure. And she's a cute lolly with great clothes, great personality. But I'm not gonna lie, when I first played Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, I thought the game really shit the bed with Clown Piece. I have to like when I think about Clown Piece's patterns, are there really any good patterns in there? Whatever patterns could have been good are just ruined in some way. They all had, like, there's so much potential here, but it's all ruined. I can't in good conscience give her anything more than a D, but I'm hesitating. I can't quite give her an E either. when I look at what the E's are, I mean, the E's are all fights that like have nothing really. When I look at it, E and F kind of belong together, don't they? The way I've used them. So yeah, I'm gonna pile her into the D crowd. Kind of low. Kind of on the low side of D. Maybe not that low. Maybe like there. But I can't give her a C. That's just no way. Junko. Fuck. Okay, you know, this is personal. I hate Junko. Her final card is great. Yes, her final card is great. I acknowledge that. But the rest of the fight, junk. Absolute junk. So she gets an E. But like, I'll put her above these like kind of trash mobs because you can't compare a real final boss with like Tay, Lily, and whatever. There's no real comparison there. Hekatia is one of those rare EX bosses that has really cool non-spells. Most of the EX bosses have just waste of time with the non-spells. Hekatia has much better non-spells, but she has worse spells than most EX fights. So I think she gets to be in the C crowd. Around here, maybe? Yeah, that seems about right. And as for HSIFS, like I said, I can't quite rank these bosses. I just can't because I didn't play the game enough. But I think I would put most of them, if not all of them, would be D at the most, with some maybe even in E or F. I don't think there's a single C in there, but I would need to play the game more to be sure of that. So let's go end this with the Phantasmagorias. Let's start with PODD. So ranking the Phantasmagorias alongside the others is really hard, but I'm gonna try my best. Ellen is crazy. She's a piece of shit. She dies too early, and she's way too hard. Way too hard. She's just fucking crazy, and I enjoy that craziness, but I hate how she dies too early. She gets a B. She gets a B. Like there. I just hate how she dies too early. Fuck that shit, man. Koruhime is insane. Absolutely insane fight. You need to do insane micro dodging, and the game will just completely shit on you sometimes. But if you really enjoy micro dodging, this is peak Touhou, man. But like micro dodging is not quite my thing, but I enjoy this fight a lot. I think it deserves an A. But she's like so. Nah. I'll give her a high B. She's almost an A. Kana is way easier, but Kana, I get good vibes from Kana. I think Kana is great. I think she gets an A. She's kind of easy for pod. She's really easy for pod, but I just get good vibes from Kana. I really like Kana. Rikako is a ton of fun to play for score. A ton of fun. She's not super hard, but she's a ton of fun. That seems about right. Shiuri is S. Yeah, Shiuri is an S. No, yeah, she is. Shiuri is S. There's a lot of streaming in this fight, and some of the boss patterns can be very troublesome in the wrong situations, but like, I just love the atmosphere of this fight. I love playing this fight. It's so tense, it's so good. Yumemi, on the other hand, she gets to settle on A, because I think Yumemi is a little bit too bullshit. Extremely cool fight, but a little bit too bullshit. She has that Remelia syndrome, you know? A little bit too bullshit for an S, even though I personally love her. And, well, PC98 Rim, we're gonna have to go with her. Not one of my favorites in pod. PC98 Marisa, also not one of my favorites in pod. PC98 Reimu is a little bit too crazy with like the spells. The spells kind of fuck you over. Spell combinations with Reimu are just too good. Marisa, on the other hand, she's a little bit too bland. She's a little bit too easy. But it's still pod, so it's still great. So she still gets a B. Something like that. Mima. That would have to be the last one, right? Yeah. Yeah, Mima would need to be the last one. So Mima is an S. Mima is one of the most fun. The only thing about Mima that kind of brings her down, as far as I'm concerned, Mima should even be like this, I think. The only thing about Mima that I think brings the fight down a little bit is probably her EX attack. These little floaty things that you can shoot, and that like when you shoot them, if it's moving down and you shoot it a couple of times, it starts moving up and it starts bouncing around. Those are the EX attacks. Those aren't exactly the most fun EX attacks in the game, but other than that, Mima is pure brilliance. And we have Phantasmagoria Flower View. That should be the last one. So with Phantasmagoria Flower View, there are some characters on the board already. So I'm just gonna rank the ones that are left here, that are unique to this game. Eiki is an S. She gets to be lower in Great Fire Wars though. But she's higher than Patchouli and Saka. Eiki is just as good as it gets. Touhou doesn't get much better than this. Komachi is about the same or slightly worse than Eiki, I would say. Yuka is very fun. Yuka gets to be an A. Like that, I think. Very, very, very fun. And medicine, I'm sorry, but you know, does anyone like medicine? I have to admit, you know, I really like Puff. I enjoy fighting all the bosses. I enjoy fighting medicine, but like, come on, just look at it. It's just not a good idea to design a boss this way. It's nowhere near as fun as most of the other bosses in Puff. It's fun, but medicine is just a stupidly designed boss, objectively speaking. So she gets to be on the C rank, even though she is pretty fun still. Yep. So that would have to be it, right? So here is the tier list from bottom and up. So I went with something like this. E and F is just kind of, I dislike them, or they're just not like very valuable. There's just not much there. Junko is the one I really dislike. The other ones fall more into the category of there's just not much there. D are bosses that I have very mixed opinions about. There are some good things about them, but on the whole, I wouldn't say I particularly enjoy them that much. C, here we start getting into bosses that I enjoy. They are bosses that I enjoy, but they have something about them that just doesn't... It's not up to greatness. It's not a great boss. B is a great boss. B bosses have some flaws, but they are always, you know, great to play. A bosses are something really special. This is where, you know, this is the bosses you start to point towards to be like, man, Touhou is great, you know. This is like almost the peak. And S, of course, this is the peak. This is peak Touhou. This is as good as Touhou gets. For one reason or another, whether it be scoring or survival or whatever. Which is I'm mostly thinking about like gameplay aspect here. The presentation I don't take the presentation in account too much. Maybe a little bit. Like Maybe Yuyuko wouldn't be quite here without that gorgeous presentation. Maybe Byakuren wouldn't be an S without me loving the presentation and the song. I don't know, but still, these are the best bosses. So, almost an hour-long video. Check this tier list out for yourself. Use it for whatever you want. It's the link is right here. maribelharngithub.io/tiers. You could probably just put it in Google, like tier lists, Touhou tier list. It'll show up most likely. I'll probably make some more videos of this tier list where I'll make a POF tier list, which would be my own opinion. I'll make a shoot the bullet and double spoiler bosses tier list for each game, and it's more unlikely that I'll do it, although I might. But the video might end up too long. I might do a character sorter tier list, the traditional way, but because there's so many characters, I wouldn't like explain my choices very much. I probably won't make that video because it would just be a long video of me sorting the characters, and if I start to talk about the characters, the video would just take too fucking long. So don't expect that. But I'm not saying it won't happen. I just don't expect it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tier list video. Expect some more in the future, and go ahead and use it yourself. It might be fun for you.